What's going on, fellow traders? Welcome to my trade review of ANY. I took this trade today on Monday, August 30th, 2021. I'm going to walk you guys through a couple things, support resistance levels, technical indicators, why I took my entry, the psychology behind the trade. This trade actually netted me just over an 8.5% gain. Nothing to write home about, but certainly I'll take those gains all day, every day. Hell, I'll even take a 2% gain if I can get it. Really just depends on what the chart will give me. The purpose of our being as a trader is to just take profit, take the meat of the move. We're not looking to get the entire move. That's really impossible. It's only going to happen maybe a few times in a trader's career. You might get lucky, but let's just take those profits, guys. Lock them in, walk away with money in the bank. That's always the goal. So let's just jump into it here and talk about some support resistance levels. First level I want to talk about is this $5.28 area, which was the previous day's close. Right above that is this $5.65 area, which was the previous day's high. Those are two really important levels if we're looking for continuation through the next day. We really want to see at least the high of the day and the close hold. If they do not and this stock fell through and just really never regained itself back up through these levels, obviously that's not something I want to trade. I'm looking for upwards movement, momentum. As a day trader, we don't want to buy and hold. We want to buy and sell, make as much money as we can in the process. Third level I want to talk about here is this $6.58 area, which is this pivot high here from August 9th, so earlier this month. 775, 780. I pulled this down a little bit towards the end of the day, but 775, 780 was my next level of resistance. And that level actually comes from back here. If we look at the chart from 2018 here, I'm going to zoom in. We can take a look at these levels. We had this big gap that we were looking to fill. The $6.50, $6.60 area was the fill. And then, just above that gap fill, we did have, this little resistance area that really played a role here for a few weeks, where it was, support for a little bit, then it became resistance. We did get that break through that level on an increase of volume, but then the following day we did get that major gap down. I'm not sure what caused that gap down. That really could have been bad news. It could have been in earnings. I don't think it was in earnings, but you never know. Unfortunately, some of that data does not show on my charts. Speaking of things that show on my charts, let's talk about some technical indicators. First thing we're going to talk about here, if you're new to trading and you don't understand what you're looking at, each one of these, we're looking at a daily chart first of all, so each one of these candles represents a single day of price action. So this is just data from a day of trading. If you don't know how to read a candlestick chart or even read a candle, I suggest doing a little bit of research on the internet to find out how you do read those. But nonetheless, we are looking at that daily chart. The first level or first technical indicator I'm going to talk about here is my exponential 8-day moving average, otherwise known as the trade line. This is my tightest lagging indicator. It's one that I use both on my daily chart and on my intraday charts. The next indicator here is my 50-day simple moving average, so it's a little different from the EMA. It's an SMA. It's a different calculation. Don't ask me how to calculate them because I have no clue. I just use them because I know that other traders use them. These are the same exact indicators that we use in my trading group, True Trading Group. I'm going to throw out a shameless plug to those guys. True Trading Group is a true educational platform, guys. This is where I've learned how to trade properly from amazing moderators, a true educational experience. And it's not just an education, it's actually a platform. They've got it all, guys. So I'll put a link in the description below so you can have a look at their website. And they also do lives 6 nights a week. So moving on, so my SMA, so I got my 50-day SMA here, which is this purple line. I've got my 100-day, which is this dark blue line, which might be a little harder to see on if you're looking at this on a small screen. And I've got my teal line here, which is my 200-day moving average. I do not use these on my intraday charts, guys. These are only used on daily charts. If for some reason you see that it does line up, when we look at the intraday charts, that it does line up with some of the price action that's more or less coincidental. I'd actually I keep them there because I do switch between time frames quite often, and I'm looking at multiple charts, so it's just handy to have them there. But it is, please disregard when we look at the next charts. So let's just jump into the 3-minute and we'll take a look at the pre-market price action. So through the close yesterday, held up over the previous days or this day's close. We held up quite nicely over it, and then in the pre-market session, again, just holding over it. To be honest, really, this wasn't on my on my radar right away. I did have this on my watch list, and we were talking about it in chat. I really wasn't watching it very closely, to be quite honest. And when I take away my pre-market data, we'll have a better look at it. But I did miss all this entire move. Kind of sucked. I'll be honest. I really wanted to get into this thing, especially when we breached this previous day's high at 565. I was a little hesitant, and I'll talk about why I was hesitant on that. But first things first, let's take away the pre-market data. So we're just looking at the data for the day. So let's have a look at my indicators here. So first one is this red line. This is my VWAP. And then again, this EMA 8, which you saw I used on my daily chart. I also use this on my intraday chart. Lots of different types of traders out there, guys. We have VWAP traders. We've got exponential 8-day, 9-day, 10-day average traders. We've got Fibonacci retracement traders. And something that they'll teach you in True Trading Group is that we want to have as many technical indicators converge on a single price area to really give you confirmation that a stock is in a really nice support level. So that's something that I always look for. One of my favorite setups is when this blue line here, my 8-day exponential, moves up and over the VWAP. That is a sign of nice upwards movement, follow through, but there are a couple little things that need to happen in order for me to get that confirmation. I'm not going to divulge too much of that info. If you wanted to get into some deeper lessons on that, you're going to have to join up True Trading Group. So let's talk about what happened here and what I saw, what I was like really kind of upset that I missed. So we did get this breakup, and we did get this retest of this $5.65 area. Again, this is the previous day's high right here. So really nice to see that. And then we had this beautiful I think this is a 1.75 million share candle of volume come in on this 3-minute candle here, and really pushed us up into test that $6.58 area. I will never chase this, guys. This is dangerous. To chase momentum on the way up, you know, if you bought up here and you see this big red candle with that type of volume coming in, that is going to probably scare you. I know it would me, and I did that plenty of times when I first got started, chasing up this momentum, buying at the top, selling at the bottom, and I learned my lesson the hard way. So that's why I invested in a proper education. So let's just see how this thing played out. So, you know, we did get the pullback here to test VWAP, and then we got that breakthrough VWAP. Kind of lost a little bit of excitement, but still looking for this previous day's high to hold, which it did. We did get that bounce off of it and then back up over VWAP. Really, let's take a look at this volume profile. As we pulled into VWAP, we had lower volume here, which is always a good sign. That's typically a sign of profit taking, not heavy selling pressure. So, you know, reduction there. As we breached back through VWAP, we got an increase in volume and a sharp increase in price, which is exactly what you want to see. And then this happened, and this is where I got really interested. And very funnily enough, this is actually very similar to what Neuro looked like on Friday. We got this massive volume increase and then a halt. So halts are great because it gives you a few minutes to get yourself collected and really get a plan together here and figure out what you want to do. But first thing I always do is mark it off. Then I draw out my Fibonacci's, and technically I start drawing these out earlier on. I would have been drawing these here, and in this case, you're going to start your drawing of the Fibonacci from the previous day's close up to the intraday high of the day, which is right around the 639. You know, moving up, we went up to $7.21, which was a nice level to see hold, like right in front of that, or right past the 658, but you know, still had a little bit of room to that 775. So really what I was looking for at this point was a pullback into a support level. So if we take a look here, we zoom in, a couple of things we're going to notice. First thing is this 38.2 lines up with this previous initial morning high, which lines up with the trade line, which lines up very closely with this $6.58 resistance area. which we had mapped out from the daily chart. As the stock opened back up, we did get this extension through that 723 halt price. Profit taking on this one, guys. Like, look at that, just over 2.5 million shares. What happens when you get stuck in these halts is you get in, just over VWAP, which would have been a nice entry here using this $5.65 support level as a stop loss. So you get into this thing, the stock extends quite quickly, climbs up in a rapid succession. You get this move, and then people don't actually get that opportunity to take profit. They get stuck. Some of their brokers aren't fast enough to get their orders filled. So as soon as the stock opens back up again, people start selling shares, dumping shares. You might get some buyers coming along here as well. Again, not my type of strategy, because your stop loss on this is going to be way the hell down here. So that's a I want to maximize shares. I don't want to risk such a wide range. So wait, let's wait for a pullback, and we got it. And then another thing I want to take notice here is we pull these Fibonacci's up to this new high here. The 38.2 fib lines up with this EMA level quite nicely, which is always a good sign. And then the next few candles play out, and I went ahead and I got long here on this candle at $6.90 with a stop below 658. Really gave me a chance to maximize my share size for my risk, which is really nice to be able to do that. Again, chasing momentum up here. If I took this entry here, having to use this 658 previous highs as a stop loss area, that really wouldn't have allowed me to get into almost into my full size. So, we did get that pullback on lower volume, on decreased volume. That is exactly what you want to see, pulling back on low volume after these big moves. And as the chart unfolds, I was getting a little concerned here that we really weren't going to get through the 723 halt price. This really became an area of resistance here. We tested it, failed. But the thing I noticed on the level 2 was every time we would pull back, there would be buyers just stepping in, just pushing this price right back up. So this like 688, 687 area really did become a nice area of support for the stock. So I really wasn't sweating it too much here. Yeah, 670, 680. As we pulled back, I kept pushing up, which was nice to see. And then we got this nice follow-through extension here with that breach through the 723 halt price. That is a nice level to see broken on such high volume. Again, look, if we look at this consolidation as the stock was kind of just bouncing around through here, it was just on reduced volume. So if I saw this happen here, that would have changed my mind. Or if this candle, this 2.5 million plus share candle, came in on this doji, you're going to start to think a little harder about sticking to that stop loss. So as soon as we broke through that 723 area, I took my first piece of profit off the table at $7.40. So that was 50% of my position size, right in front of the 775 resistance, and hoping for a little bit more follow through, some increase in volume, but we're starting to actually decrease a little bit. I wanted to see this volume bar be a little higher than this previous volume bar, but it was decreasing. As we came up and tested the 775, I actually had an order set for $7.73. I think the high on both these candles was just under that. Yeah, $7.68 and then $7.66. So I actually didn't get filled. And then I actually had a look at this MACD, and I started to notice that we were kind of curling down here. When this crosses over and holds, that's a great sign. As we pulled in and consolidated, we breached this MACD level here, and then we got back over it and then started to kind of round it back out. And I also take a look at my Chaikin money flow and notice that again we were kind of trending in a downward direction. So I just went ahead and took the rest of my profit off here, the last 50% at $7.50. I think that was a safe move because we'll see as the stock plays out here over the next few minutes, decreasing volume, not increasing volume to get through this 775 level. So I at first I was like, oh no, I think this thing is going to go back up, but it didn't. The 722 level was key to hold. If it didn't hold that halt price, it got below it. I knew that I had made the right decision. We can always second guess ourselves, but once we take that piece of profit, then game over. We're out of the trade. I used to do this a lot too. I would buy back in hopes that we would get back over that level and then give back some profit. Also learned that the hard way, that definitely don't do that anymore. And then the rest of the day was just more or less a kind of a downtrending price action. We got this drop back down through 658 resistance or support at this point in time on an increase in volume. And, I actually got to pull my fib up here to this level here. So yeah, it really just never had the oomph to get back up over, I think a lot of us were hoping in the later session, in the afternoon session, that we would get that opportunity. I was not going to attempt to get back in during lunch. I really don't like to take trades between that like 11:30 a.m. And 1:30 p.m. time frame. Everyone's taking lunch. No one's really paying attention to charts too much at that point in time. So best to just leave it alone. Nice thing to see here, I guess, in some regard, was this uptrend line here. You can draw it from here, and we did get that uptrend throughout lunch. But this was a key candle here. If we didn't get through that halt price at 723, 722, whatever that number exactly was, it was 722, with some nice volume and hold it, then chances are this thing really wasn't going to pan out too much in the afternoon, which it didn't. We actually dropped all the way back down to $6.26. So overall, really happy with the trade. Wasn't a huge one for me, just a little over 8.5%, like I mentioned at the beginning, but I'll take that all day, every day. I hope you guys enjoyed this trade review, and I'm going to try and put these out every day that I have a winning trade or a losing trade, to kind of share my experience with you guys, so that you can see we are all human. It's not just wins, it's wins and losses. I've got a couple of swing trades on. One of them is Palantir. Entered that last week. I believe that was on Friday last week at 25.50. We'll talk about that when I close it out, but in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the trading week, and stick around. Give me a subscribe if you want to see some more reviews like this, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a wonderful day.